is about a storm. But anyways, guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're gonna be doing a tutorial on how I edited this picture right here. So this is a picture of my buddy's Mustang, and today I'm gonna do a full tutorial from a raw picture using Lightroom and Photoshop. So this video is gonna be a little bit different opposed to my other videos. So this might be a longer video because usually I like to do short videos around 4 minutes. But this video I'm gonna do a full tutorial showing you exactly how I edited this picture. So let's go. I'm gonna put my screen up right now and we'll get started on this video. What is going on, guys? So today I'm gonna be showing you how exactly I edited this picture right here. So I was gonna show you guys how I did this in Photoshop, but my computer was acting weird, so it only lets me record in Lightroom. So we're gonna start with the crop. And this is just to straighten it out. Straighten out the car, because I don't know how I took this picture, but it is not straight. So that looks good right there. And then I'm going, whoa. And then I am gonna go to my chromatic aberration and enable profile correction. So you can tell this picture is very underexposed. So what I like to do, I'm gonna mess with the shadows. So I'm gonna bring up the shadows, and that looks good right there. But it has this weird thing to it, because it almost looks like it doesn't look good, but you can see that just by me bringing out the shadows, that corrected a lot of it. So I'm gonna bring a little bit of the exposure up, and now you can see the sky is overexposed. So I'm gonna bring up the highlights, bring down the highlights for that. So this is a full tutorial on how I edit pictures. So I'm showing you guys step by step. So once the highlights brought down, I'll mess with the whites, and I'm just gonna plus 27. So now I'm gonna use my gradients to fix the overexposed sky. By me putting a gradient in the sky, I can just underexpose the sky, and that's correcting for the overexposure. So that looks good to me right there. Now won't mess with too much of the stuff now. Now I'm gonna do one for the ground. So for the ground, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna underexpose it. That way it's drawing the attention to the car in the middle. And then I'm gonna go and take the saturation out, because I don't like that color blue that's on the ground. Just like that. Now the temperature. So you can tell I took this during the sunset, but it was turning to blue hour, so there is a lot of blue in it. So by me just putting up the temperature, it's starting to make it more like sunset. And now that's starting to look good. So another thing I'm gonna do is split toning. So split toning really helps you tone in colors into the highlights and the shadows, but I'm gonna do subtle. So for what I like to do is I like to put 100 saturation so I can see what I'm doing, and that I'm liking that. So I'm gonna put 100 saturation here because I like to do a teal and orange. So for this picture, the ground was a little blue, so I might do that, and then I'll put one on the ground, and then I'll do the same thing to the highlights. The highlights I'll put at 6. So now you can see the before and after so far. It's looking very good. So when you're split toning, only do a little bit, because a little bit goes a long way, and that's all I'm gonna do for split toning. And again, I like to do all my edits in Photoshop, but like I said, my Photoshop application wasn't really showing everything I was doing, so I'm doing it in Lightroom, which is more of a basic way to edit. So now I'm gonna go with the green. So I don't like the green colors, so I'm gonna start by moving them over to the yellows. And now this is where I'm starting to like. I'm gonna move the greens a little bit more. I'm gonna bring down their luminance. And then the orange, bring up the saturation there. So again, with your color tones, it all depends on how you like to edit. I like to edit warmer, so this is why I don't like the greens. I like more of a warm color tones to it, and that's what I'm liking. So the only thing that I don't like right now is the exposure to the car itself. So that's where I'm going to use S curves for them. So I'm going to put 3 points. So I'm going to put so I'm going to use the point curve. So I'm going to put 3 points. There we go. So I usually like to use S curves in Photoshop because they're a little less drastic, but I'm gonna have to use them in Lightroom right here. So this is for the highlights. So I'm gonna bring up the highlights just a little bit. Bring up the midtones because that's where the car is at. That's starting to look good for me. And then the shadows, I'll bring up the shadows as well. So what I like to do right here, I like to fade the shadows, and then I like to bring it over to the side, which gives it the contrast that I like. Just like that. With the S curve, you want to be subtle, and again, you can mess with the colors, but that's a little bit more touchy. I'm gonna add a little bit of clarity, not too much, 7%, because this car was already a little bit noisy because I shot this with my A7R III, and it was underexposed, so you can see where it could get a little bit noisy. But I like this so far. So this is probably what I'm gonna end. So another thing I'm gonna do to end it all is go back to the gradient layer. So you see how the sky, you can see the detail, but you really can't see it. So a tip is, if you dehaze the sky a little bit, so boom, it looks awful. But if you do a subtle dehaze, it's gonna bring up a little bit more to the sky than wasn't there. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring this down a little bit. And like, I want that orange in there. I'm gonna mess with the temperature. So you see how the temperature's getting warmer? And that's giving it the orange right here. And then as well, I am going to put a color in there. So if you go with any of these colors, you're gonna notice people are gonna know you just added it. So you want to be subtle with it. So I'm gonna be doing this color, very subtle, just like that, just like that. And now you can see the difference of before and after. And I think this picture looks really good. If you want to add different type of things, if you can stack on gradient layers on top of each other. That's the one thing I used to like to do. So let's say I'm gonna do a gradient layer from this side. So this is only gonna affect half the gradient. And then for this one, I'm gonna put the temperature blue, and I'll set everything normal. So now you have that split. You get the split from the cool tones and the warm tones, all going towards the middle, which gives it a really cool effect, in my opinion. But that's it. So this is how I edit my pictures. It's really easy, really simple. I think if you do a lot of subtle edits, does the picture looks more natural, looks more like an ad, in my opinion, opposing to adding tons of clarity, where you can just tell that the person who edited the picture just push the clarity button. So you don't want to add too much clarity. You want to be right in the middle. You want to have a little bit of both. You want to have everything perfectly exposed depending on the day you took the picture. Like this picture, there's no reason why I shouldn't have everything exposed. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is how to edit car photography in Lightroom. And like I said, it's really easy. Stick to the basics, and the S curves will give you the best effect. So I can't really show you on Lightroom because Lightroom doesn't work like Photoshop in layers. But I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you can take these tips and implement them in your own pictures. Again, follow me on LeoJuego8, and hope you enjoy this video. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.